Bonjour! Welcome to Rascal Comedy. I am your host. It is Jack Mack. How are we doing, guys? What's the crack? Welcome to another episode of Rascal Comedy, the only show that forces comedians to come on and open up about how they're feeling before I push them on stage like performing monkeys. Yes. The only show that comedians are so desperate to do comedy, they beg me for slots. So, yeah, welcome to the show. What's going on at the moment? I think, as I was saying to the acts, I'm feeling like lockdown's getting to me today. I just really miss live comedy. I really miss it. You know, it's kind of like sex comedy at the moment. I've only done it for the last year. I've only done it with my computer. You know. That being said, though, I find pornography extremely unrealistic. Except for the conversation they have at the beginning, you know, that they are always so honest. Like, imagine if every job interview was that honest. Like, you go in, the employer's there with a camera in your face, like, why do you want to work in retail? And you're just there, like, the money. You know, something I noticed. What else did I have? I think I've just forgotten my own jokes. That's all I had. That's all the new jokes I've wrote this week. Right, let's meet the comedians. Let's meet the comedians. How are we doing, guys? We got Michael.
All right.
We got Rian. We got Alexis.
Hello.
And Andre. How are we doing, guys?
Very good.
Good. That's good. It's good to just do something on a Monday, isn't it? Just, you know.
Well, I mean, is it Monday? Does anyone know anymore what time is?
I so rarely get a chance to get out of the house these days, so thank you.
I'm guessing it's Monday. I think it's Monday.
It feels like a Monday.
It does.
Doesn't every day in lockdown feel like a Monday?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like last month was March 2020.
Yeah. I think it was Sunday, not Monday. It feels like, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so
that was Morrissey. Sorry.
Very good.
Is it?
This is why you're on here.
Yeah. Are all you guys working from home or like living?
I'm doing everything from home.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, working from home. I love it. I don't have to deal with like awkward small talk in the elevator anymore. And even when I do go into the office, there's only one person allowed in the elevator, which is great. So I still don't have to deal with awkward small talk.
Yeah, but it does.
I don't have to pretend to care about the weather. I could just get in
or which floor they're going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't really compensate for lockdown and risking death every time you leave the house and your home becoming a prison. Do you know what I mean? Sort of the balance here is a bit on the.
I don't know. I'll take it.
Yeah,
I know, it's great for introverts.
Yeah,
this has been the time of the introvert.
Yeah, my old housemate was an unemployed man in his like late 40s, and when lockdown happened, his lifestyle did not change. He just spent all his time on his computer.
Well, no, because I live in Rome, and basically, English people in Rome before lockdown. Hello. Before lockdown, it was sitting in your room doing absolutely nothing all day, and with lockdown, it's sitting in your room doing nothing and complaining about it.
Yeah.
So, if anything, more purpose.
Yeah. At least that's what you do.
Yeah.
The extra
something to look forward to.
Something. Yeah.
The only big difference for me is that I used to like make excuses not to go out so I could stay at home and play video games, and now I don't need to make excuses. So kind of like the thrill of it is gone. That I'm like, oh, I should be out doing stuff, but I'm actually killing Ninja Warriors on my PlayStation.
For a good cause now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, smart working, or as they say in Italian, smart working. Google Translate.
That's not Italian.
That is how Italians speak English.
Is it like when those guys, these Germans got arrested, and someone asked, "Oh, does anyone speak German?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I speak German right here." No, you don't.
It's a horrible German stereotype accent.
Yeah.
Don't mention the
awful.
war.
Never mention the war or COVID. So we're going to start off with our first comedian. He's currently, well, I know him from Dublin. I don't know if he's in Dublin right now. But
no, I'm not.
Where are you now?
I'm in Kildare. I'm not far from Dublin. Like, I've never lived in Dublin. So, like, yeah. I'm where I've always been.
In Ireland, in Kildare.
In the hearts and minds of all.
I've heard a new term now for people you know on the internet. The people you know in real life, they're called fleshies. So Rian and I are fleshies. I know. Do you know?
That sounds a little bit sex dolly, doesn't it? You know?
Yeah, it sounds like we meet up. We meet up and get naked together. You know.
No, it sounds like a combination of like porn and science fiction to me.
Yes. It's like something on Star Trek.
The first generation of sex dolls were plastic, but this new generation, they're fleshies. That's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah, that's what it kind of sounds like.
So we're fleshies, is that?
I joined Clubhouse over. It's that new app now that's like audio, but you can join rooms and stuff. And one of the guys was like, "Oh, me and Jack are fleshies, kind of like Discords." And I was like, "What? What?
No."
D is not a fan. No, I don't. I hope it doesn't catch on either. No way.
It's too late. We're making it viral. Is this how viral happens? I don't know.
Yeah. On this show, yes.
On this show is viral.
So, Rian, how are you? What's been happening since I saw you last?
Since you saw me last, God, I got married. That happened.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. It's weird because when you're so conditioned to believe it's all, do you take this person to be your lawfully wedded wife? And then when you get up there, they don't say it. So they said something completely different, and I said I do, and everyone looked at me like that makes no sense. So I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, sure, I guess I will marry you. Yeah, it's cool.
Did you have a rehearsal?
But they don't do the thing where they're like, no, didn't have a rehearsal. Just went straight in, cold open, boom, over and done.
Improvised.
Yeah. But like they also don't do if there's any reason why these two should not be wed, speak now, forever hold your peace, which I'm very thankful for, because like I didn't need people objecting to the marriage to have difficulty convincing my wife that this is the best decision she could have made for her life.
Yeah, if he said that, go, look at me, babe. Ignore everybody.
Ignore my family telling you this is a terrible idea.
Absolutely.
Just look at me. This is the best idea.
I don't know about you, but do you find like Irish families try to put, when you're going out with someone, they try to put them off you? They tell you maybe it's not an Irish thing either, but they tell your new girlfriend the worst parts about you, the worst stories.
Yeah. They like, I don't know if they're trying to put me off, or trying to put her off me. I think it's more that they're just like, he's been presenting an image of Rian to you for the last number of years. Here's the real Rian.
Yeah.
At some point will come out.
My cousin, straight in, she tells the worst stories. She's like, I want you to know what you're getting involved with, and he's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
you better like bad boys.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be classified as a bad boy, just a moron, an imbecile.
What type of bad boy? Not the good bad boy, the bad.
I'm not the leather jacket and motorcycle bad boy. I'm the just gonna disappoint you continually for the next 70, 80 years. I'm in the same category. I'm the bad boy. Yeah. I'm a bad boy in that I make bad life choices.
That's it, yeah.
Like comedy.
Yeah. So wow, that's cool. So so you obviously got married during COVID.
We got married during COVID. So we could only have 12 people at the wedding, which was strange. Now she's Brazilian, so her family were Zoom called in to the wedding, which was nice also, but also a little bit strange. But yeah, we didn't have a big reception or anything like that. It was all very chill and all very relaxed and stuff like that. So I enjoyed it. I can't do late. Like I've never been able to do late nights. Like I kind of have to really force myself to.
Like now.
Like this is way past my bedtime. But like there's the Strokes have a song, and one of the quotes is, "The night's not over, you're just not trying hard enough." And that's how some of my friends like to look at me. They're like, "You're not trying hard enough." And I'm like, "No, it's like, fuck it, I want to go home and sleep." But yeah, so we kind of had an early night and everything with the wedding. So I'm like, this is how all weddings should be, wrapped up and over by 10:30. Everyone's in bed. You're watching telly and you have a cup of tea. You don't need
not like in Ireland where everyone's drinking till 4 a.m.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I used to think that was great, and then I realized I like doing things, and you can't really do things if you're doing. Yeah. Like like, what's the point in being in a really fancy hotel and stuff like that if you can't go swimming in the pool the next day or something? You've already paid for it. Like, get the most of it out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the crack with you, Jack? Anyway.
What is the crack for me? What's happening? I don't know. I'm just having one again. As I said, I'm having one of those days. I'm questioning everything. I'm good. I've been just writing and crying.
That's I needed this appearance to kind of prompt me to write. I've written nothing probably since our last. I know I did a show in Dunleary, but I haven't written really anything since then. So this is all going to be very rough and ready.
It's fine. That's what this show's all about. We like it. We like it rough.
Oh, good lord!
We like it rough and raw, but not too rough. We don't want, there are like, this is streaming live. I have to say sometimes to some comedians, like, don't say anything that you don't want popping up in 20 years. I didn't tell any of you guys that.
I don't know what's gonna be acceptable in 20 years. So let's just fucking go for it, man. Let's just go for it.
Fucking go for it. What, are you ready to go for it now?
Oh no, but yeah.
No? Yeah, you are.
Yeah. And I would go for it. We'd go for it.
Okay, guys. Recently married, but still a free man. Read, everyone. Woo!
Oh, still a free man. That's not going to go down well, is it? I don't know. I was looking at a thing on the news today that mysterious blue balls have been washing up on Dollymount Strand in Dublin. It's a beach in Dublin for anyone who doesn't know. It's just another case of an increase in blue balls across the country since lockdown has been brought in. I know people are concerned about what's going on with Prince Philip and stuff like that. I personally believe that he's dead, and now that Madame Tussauds is closed down, they're just using the wax double figures to ship him around Britain. That's what I think, because they need to make use of those wax figurines at the moment. I did watch the Oprah interview, though. I think, like the rest of the world, I watched the Oprah interview, and I was surprised with how surprised she was by the racism. Like the fact that she was shocked about this institution that has historically been oppressive to minorities and people of color is suddenly racist is such a big shock to her, whereas the Irish were just kind of like, I don't know. It's not that shocking. God, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what else has been going on in the world. There's been so much and also so little. Easter's coming up, obviously, which is 2 weeks away, which is a great excuse to eat chocolate and get fat. But I am very excited for. I've pitched a TV show to HBO, which I'm hoping will get picked up based around Easter. Yeah, it's a gritty HBO reboot of the Bible. And I don't want to spoil too much, but the season 1 ending is Jesus coming back and going berserk on all his followers when he realizes that the day that he died, they'd named it Good Friday. They were like, oh, thank fuck he's gone. We can all just... He was a lot to deal with. And then Jesus comes back and just like goes nuts on them, I did read an article the other day as well, which was saying that the church is scared of COVID-19. And it's not because it's a bunch of old lads that they're afraid they're going to get it and die. It's just they're worried that the church will be more popular, or that COVID will be more popular than the church, I should say, because COVID has managed to instill non-contact better than the church ever could. And I'll finish on this. I've been playing a lot of video games, a lot of board games during lockdown. Monopoly and Pandemic and stuff like that. And I got to say, from playing Pandemic, I've learned how every country has bungled the COVID response. It's really, really difficult to get it right. But I used to hate landlords. And now that I've started playing Monopoly more, I kind of realize being a landlord is the best thing ever. You just sit back and let other people pay you money for doing nothing. So I've decided kind of that's where I want to put my time and energy as to being a landlord. I just got to get my first house, which is really, really difficult. Because obviously houses are really expensive. And I've been myself and my wife have been searching for a house, and our housemates at the moment are actually kind of really rude about it. They're kind of like trying to push us out of the house. I call them housemates. Most people call them my mom and dad. But yeah, so that's kind of where I am at the moment. So yeah, that's me, Jack. That's me. I'm done. I'm over. I'm finished.
Brilliant, everyone. Well done, man. Just before we move on, you also have a podcast.
I do have a podcast. I do. Thank you for mentioning that, Jack. It is the Tripod, T or iPod, T or YPod. We go and we try loads of different things each week. Hopefully, when the world is open a bit more, we're going to try some more adventurous things. Obviously, at the moment, everything's kind of COVID compliant and done at home. But we've had some really good episodes. Our most recent one that came out last week was with a compatriot of yours, Jack, Claire Cullen, aka Claire. We got drunk.
Nice.
Got
Always
drunk
good.
basically with craft beers and just had the bands. And we've an episode hopefully coming out this week. I think it is this week. I'm not too sure today, but we read and discussed the erotic novellas Kissing the Coronavirus Part 1 and 2, available for Amazon on a combined price of under £2. And look, I'm not going to spoil the episode, but what I will say is these books are well worth reading. I mean,
Kissing the corona.
Cursing the coronavirus.
Is it kind of like? Is that the art and the?
No, it's a little bit more risque, shall we say? But yeah, that's coming out this week. So check it out. Tripod. It's a little bit like that.
I'm making myself laugh here.
It's a little bit like that, but yeah. Every platform, podcast platform, and then we're on all the social media platforms as well. So that's where we're at.
We're going to link it after the show.
Oh, lovely!
And,
thank you very much.
People can check that out. By the way, just some of the comments. Matthew didn't say anything. He just wanted to be here. Thanks, Matthew.
Matthew's my co-host.
Oh, is he? Brilliant. He just wanted to pop up.
As is Juan Pedro. They're my two co-hosts.
We got Juan Pedro.
Juan Pedro. The three of us make a tripod. He's from Kildare.
He sounds Italian, or is he Spanish?
Yes, all of the above.
I got the job of my flesh. I just presume he's Italian. And then Dia was like, Irish comedians drinking. What?
It happens. Okay, I haven't drank since that episode. That's how much alcohol we consumed.
I've been drinking. Alexis, are you drinking tea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my addiction.
Very British of you. Very classy.
Very British for a very Australian.
Absolutely. Right, well, we're going to move on to our next comedian. He is British, but he is actually in Rome. It is Mike.
Hello.
How you doing? All right.
Oh, I'm all right. Yeah.
All right, mate. How you doing? Nothing
changes. Yeah. There's this thing called lockdown going on. Don't know if you've heard of it. So.
What's that? Is that
I don't know.
A party? A lock-in?
Let's hope it's nothing serious. Won't affect our day-to-day lives.
Hopefully.
That's all.
Imagine if you had to stay in your house all day. That'd be terrible.
Would be awful. Yeah. So I wouldn't be used to doing that. Sitting at home, my fat ass in front of the telly. It'd be quite difficult to get used to it. So
sounds awful.
Yeah.
And what brought you to Rome?
I've absolutely no idea. People often ask me. I came to Rome for 1 year, 22 years ago. And
it's a long year.
Yeah. Well, like this kind of lockdown thing that's going on as well. So I don't know. I think I'm too lazy to move. Because people. So sometimes when I say I've been in Rome for 22 years, I get a round of applause. Don't applaud that. It just means I'm too lazy to move. That's all it is.
Fair,
so,
yeah.
But cool.
What are the Italians like with comedy?
They don't have it. They don't know what it is. In Italy, Benny Hill is cutting edge.
Really?
That's about as radical as it gets. Yeah. Well, they don't really have it in Italy. They don't really make sitcoms. They import all the sitcoms. They don't have a lot of stand-up. They have a lot of sort of commedia italiana, sort of stage shows, sort of horrible musicals that I can't stand. But it's coming in slowly.
Opera? They've got opera?
No, sort of musicals, like operettas, that sort of stuff. People dancing around, sort of pantomimes, sort of stuff. Yeah.
I think there is something very Italian about opera.
Yeah. I think the name. Yeah, the clue is in the name. I think. Yeah. No, that reminds me because so some people say the panto format is out of date. Oh no, it isn't. Thank you very much. That's about as good as it gets. Well, no, seriously, it's coming in gradually. There are some stand-up comedians who are sort of making it, but it's very, very slow. We're miles behind.
See, I feel like that part of the world, like France, Spain, Italy, Those people are too sexy for comedy. They don't need it.
Sexy or sexist?
They're too sexy. They're too
Oh,
sexy.
sexist, yeah.
France has a pretty good comedy scene, to be fair.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the
France
Germans, the Germans are famous for their sense of humor.
Oh,
aren't
absolutely. They take their comedy very seriously.
they? Yeah.
I-
Well, it's
I
like, you know,
was-
I can't understand why people say. I can't understand when people say the Marx Brothers are so funny. You know, I read Das Kapital 4 times. Nothing. You know.
Nothing else. Do you speak German?
Yeah, German. I used to speak German. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I lived in Germany before coming to Italy, and
Jesus.
yeah. Mm.
Jesus, you've been
That's
all
it,
around.
though. No, because when I say this, people get the impression that I speak loads of languages. I travel. That's the extent, right? England, Germany, Italy, finish. You know.
Fair.
Was it just that you got out of England and you realized I don't want to go back to where it's always raining, or like?
I like the rain. I have a
Really?
problem with the rain. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what- that's what happens when
The
you
thing
live-
about Rome is that you get 2 seconds of rain and the entire system just freezes. It's incredible.
wow.
You know, they still can't handle it. I don't know how they got an empire with that attitude, but
Well,
it's been a long time, hasn't it?
that was they peaked very early, you know.
Well, no, I mean you're joking, but the thing I love about Italy is whenever they talk about how great it is, they always talk about the past. You know, it's like they talk about Italian art. It's the Renaissance, like 500 years ago, or they talk about great Italian cinema, and they talk about the 50s and 60s. It's crap now. Do you know we have Carry On films in Italy? Did you know that?
What, like carry on Italiano?
It's called Cinema Panettone, which is Italian for shit film. And they're exactly the same. It's exactly the same as Carry On, you know, like with all different stereotypes and like, you know, the sexy young girl.
Men always staring at women.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and there's a sort of Kenneth Williams in Italian. Yeah. And,
Remember that was
it's
comedy?
exactly the same.
Staring at women was like, that was the joke.
Well, it worked for Benny Hill, didn't it? I mean, Benny Hill made $1 million out of doing that.
He was.
Nobody minded.
He was a pervert.
Well, they're actually the hilarious thing about Benny Hill is that there are rumors that he was gay. Really? And he wasn't actually living out his sexual fantasies. He was just like sticking 2 fingers up at being prudish. That was all it was.
Right, maybe he was like, is this what straight men like?
Yeah, I think most of them like it. Yeah, I think that was the idea. No, but it's an interesting theory. You know.
That is interesting. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, you know. Also, because if you're a multi-millionaire and you want to live out your sexist fantasies, you don't have a crappy TV show, do you? You do a sort of Berlusconi, you know, buy a villa, have a sex party.
You disappear.
There must be easy ways to do it.
You disappear for a few months with all these models and.
Yeah, maybe it was the new feminism. I don't know, Benny Hill. Just tragically misunderstood. Well, it's like genius is always understood after you die, isn't it? So maybe that's what had to happen.
It's like the show.
Yeah, maybe that's my problem.
They say it's a great career move for creatives, isn't it? Dying.
I heard once.
Dying.
Like it's a great career, like Cobain and stuff like that. It's a great career move. Yeah.
Well, it worked for New Order, didn't it? Joy Division. They were crap.
Yeah.
Everyone goes on about them now. They're great. They're an awful group. You know, terrible, horrible noise, awful voice, really boring. But because he died young, there's this cult around Joy Division and New Order rising from the ashes of Joy Division. Haven't heard that before, you know?
Well, I mean, Kurt Cobain was good before he died.
Yeah.
True, yeah. But Joy Division, even Van Gogh.
Yeah. I actually read, and even if it's not true, the fact that this idea could circulate means it could be, that apparently the week after Elvis died, he sold more than in the last 15 years all put together. Yeah. Don't laugh at Elvis. I don't laugh at you.
I am a massive Elvis fan.
That's probably true because by the time
the hair came from.
I think the hair was, yeah. Did you know that I accused Elvis of not knowing how to make past participles? Yeah. He said, I'm all shook up.
I've got on my keys. I've got Elvis. My grandmother got me that from Graceland.
No, I'm a Beatles person myself. Actually, yeah.
They were Elvis fans.
Both. They started as Elvis fans, yeah, but they moved on. They developed, Ringo.
They got Ringo.
Yeah, there's a really very quickly. Sorry, there's a brilliant story. That's absolutely true. Happened in Italy. I was buying a bunch of old Beatles CDs, right, second hand. And just as this is absolutely true. Just as I was leaving, the assistant said, "Do you want to sign up for our mailing list?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Are you a Beatles fanatic?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Are you one of those sort of beyond fanatic, slightly deranged Beatles fans?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Are you one of those crazy, mad Beatles fans who will buy any shit whatsoever, just so long as there is some link, no matter how tenuous, to the Beatles?" And I said, "Yeah, how'd you know?" And she pointed at the Ringo Starr Christmas album and laughed. That's your fucking answer.
No, I don't need that. It's like, I like Star Trek, but I'd never buy any of William Shatner's music because it's just him singing, but he's really talking.
There's a limit to how much you can buy, isn't there? I think I think it was Paul McCartney in the Frog Chorus was too much for some people. But...
Wow, I didn't even know he did that.
Wow, that's how hardcore I am. It's disturbing. Wow, I'm okay with that. I mean, some people molest monkeys, so if I have a passion for the Beatles, that's relatively healthy. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, I think there's worse things you could be into.
Definitely, especially in Rome. I mean, could be in the Vatican.
Yeah. Probably know the Pope. Yeah. He's a great lad. Anyway, Michael, are you ready to hit the stage?
Yeah, I'm all right. All right. Why not? Look at me.
Here, he's ready.
I just exude comedy.
I have to say, this is the most positive I've seen you. I've seen you perform twice, and really? You're usually like, "All right, let's get this over with." But you've been quite like,
I'm making positive. A special effort for you just because it's your show. Really, this is the most I can possibly give. Believe me.
you're at 110.
Go back to being awesome. Yeah, I'm going down there.
Yeah. All right, let's get you on stage. Okay. Yeah. Oh, he's in Rome at the moment, but he's not Italian. It is Michael Monkhouse, everyone.
All right. Yeah. So, how you doing? You doing all right?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's the level of energy I want to maintain. Yeah, let's keep that going. I love it when people say all the way from Rome, because this is Zoom. I could be the next fucking room for all the effort I've made. You know what I mean? So, it's like comedians are worse. I say, "What'd you do at the weekend?" "Oh, I did a show in America. I did a show in Canada." No, you didn't. You were sitting in your fucking room in front of a computer, for Christ's sake. Anyway, I've been doing this for years now, and I'm still shit. So let's get it out of the way as quickly and painlessly as possible, so I can go to the pub and get pissed instead. I've been asked to take all the swearing out of my act. Good night. No, seriously, as always, I've been told to stop talking about the Spice Girls. I said, fine, if that's what you want. What you really, really want. To stop right now, thank you very much. Then goodbye, my friend. Because too much of one thing is bad enough. So, yeah, there's always one Spice Girls fan who gets that. Yeah. And it's normally me. Mel B says, every time I listen to the song Mama, I burst into tears. Come on, love, it's not that bad. My best friend said that Melanie C is a girl next door, so I moved in with him. Yeah, he's a liar, isn't he? Every day in London, a man moves house. He must be knackered. My wife spent 6 hours at the hairdresser. She must be lacquered. I told Jerry Halliwell from the Spice Girls. I told Jerry Halliwell she had a clandestine relationship with my pet kangaroo. She wasn't convinced. She said, "Is your wallaby my lover?" I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Emma Bunton, Baby Spice. Yeah. Every vicar's favourite Spice Girl, Baby Spice. So I'm not going to go there. I got into so much trouble for those jokes. I'm not going to make those jokes again. I used to make jokes like, says in the Bible, love your neighbour. That's why the priest moved next to the kindergarten. I don't make those jokes anymore. You know, or my car has a baby on board sticker, so the person behind will slow down. Unless it's a priest, he speeds up. I don't do these jokes. I'm the opposite of a priest. I'll shag anything that's over 16. No. The Pied Piper of Hamelin, 500 children running after one man. That's a priest in reverse. I don't do these jokes anymore because they're bad taste. I would never lower myself to that level. I was speaking of religion, the Spice Girls, yeah. Emma Bunton was actually the last person to join the Spice Girls. This is true. I read it on Wikipedia, so it must be true. Emma Bunton was a replacement for a young lady called Michelle Stevenson. Michelle just wasn't fitting in with the Spice Girls. I mean, sure, she was a great singer, a great songwriter, a great dancer, which is probably why she wasn't fitting in with the fucking Spice Girls. Did you know that if you put all the Spice Girls CDs in a long line on the ground, starting from John O'Groats, you get really bored? And I learnt that out the hard way. Seriously, a new Spice Girls video just leaked, and so did I when I watched it. Yeah, it will be streaming next. Yeah, the hits came thick and fast, and so did I. But anyway, as you know, I live in Rome. After 20 years in Rome, I finally found a great place to work. London. I've started a new Facebook page for people who never have sex, so pretend they'd rather be socializing. It's called Expats in Rome. This is Rome 20 years ago. Fucking bus ain't coming. This is Rome now. I've got this awesome application on my telephone. It says fucking bus ain't coming. That's progress. Life's miserable, isn't it? You wait 30 minutes for a bus, nothing turns up, then all of a sudden, still nothing fucking turns up, does it? Anyway, I think I've been moaning for long enough now, so I'm going to piss off, don't worry. I'm going to finish with a bit of observational comedy, all right? Because this is kind of the big thing now, isn't it? So here we go. What's the difference between COVID and my mother's legs? COVID won't spread forever. What's the difference between COVID? Oh, one more. COVID and Berlusconi? COVID might go away. That's all from me. You've been mediocre as usual. Glad that's over. Thank you.
Michael Monkhouse, everyone. Woo!
That's my time.
I think you're more of a Spice Girls fan than a Beatles fan.
It's ironic. Yeah. Because you know, I'm a big fan of Alanis Morissette, but I can never remember any lyrics. Isn't that ironic?
No.
Don't you think? It's a little too ironic. I really do think.
It is. Dia was saying, Lord, the one thing I know about Jack is how much he loves Elvis. Well, thank you very much.
He's the only person who's managed to parlay a career as an Elvis impersonator into comedy, I think.
Yeah,
I think Elvis is quite funny.
No other comedian has ever done that.
None whatsoever.
Yeah,
but there was that when Elvis did Old MacDonald. That was quite funny for the wrong reasons. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
YouTube it. Old
MacDonald had a farm. That's all he does.
Yeah. Well, see it to believe it.
He used to sing gospel when he was like a child. So that's where he goes.
Oh, an incredible voice. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Great singer.
Yeah, better than me. Better than Ringo.
Better than, well. Yeah. Anyway, we won't get into that Ringo, poor Ringo. So we're going to move on to our next comedian. It is Alexis. How you doing?
Oh,
what's the crack?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
Good. What's going on? What's happening? How are you finding COVID?
Oh, my introverted soul's quite happy about, as we mentioned earlier, the lack of social contact is quite good for my introvert soul. I don't have to think of all those excuses. I ran out of cats a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, the standing in front of people with a microphone bit, that bit I miss.
Yeah, I miss bombing. I miss bombing on stage. You know.
Mm.
Oh, you mean doing comedy? I thought you meant just standing with a microphone in front of people.
Just in general. I mean, that's how I like social contact to be, for everybody else to be quiet, but me to have all the power.
You just have a little speaker on your hip. You know, you can get one that you can like clip on your belt.
Yeah.
Hello.
Just me.
Just at a party. How we doing? What's the crack? What's your name? Just MC the party. What are you drinking?
Everybody loves it when you show up to a house party.
I'm definitely doing that the next time I'm allowed out.
Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Sorry.
What were you saying, Rian? Everyone loves
I'm just saying, everybody loves it when you show up to a house party and just start doing crowd work with the people there, like.
Yeah. Until they ask to leave.
Leave.
Yeah. And they ask, say, who are you? You weren't invited to this party. Get out. Yeah.
It's my first ever laugh. Believe me.
Yeah. Please don't take this away from me. Yeah,
you can just exit politely with well, that's my time. I'll see you all next week or whatever.
That's my time.
Yeah, maybe that's an idea now for when you get out.
I'm taking notes, and that is how I will be attending all the parties from now onwards.
Yeah. I don't get invited to parties very often, so I don't know.
No, I can see that. No. You'll be called Amplifier Alexis.
I didn't catch that, sorry.
Your new nickname will be Amplifier Alexis.
Amplifier. I thought you said Amazon Fire Alexis, and I was like, this is a joke about my name.
You could be delivered by Amazon, maybe in a box. Hello.
Hey. Like those cake things that you always used to see in the old cartoons.
Yeah. But it's you,
just me in a box with a microphone,
roasting everybody at the party.
That would be a brilliant way for you to start an Edinburgh Fringe show or something. Just have a big box on stage and you're in it, and
turning into a great brainstorming session.
Have your friend come out and just be like, Alexis, do comedy, and then boom, and then you just do your hour there, and then fucking.
It could be like that scene in Some Like It Hot, where the guy jumps out of the cake and machine guns everybody.
Well, talk about killing at the Fringe, huh?
Yeah, I killed.
You're there with jokes. Hey, it's just an idea.
I love it.
You could take.
I'll take a producer's credit, please, and thank you.
Yeah. I'll take a 10% cut.
Additional material.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Alex, where are you in the world at the moment?
At the moment, I am in sunny Reading.
Way. Is it really sunny?
It was sunny today. Genuinely was sunny. Went by walked by the river this morning with the dog. It was very exciting. Yeah.
Rain here.
Oh.
And misery.
Sorry.
And sadness.
Comedy.
Well, that's our time.
Awesome.
Right. Okay. No, pain is comedy. I realize that the sadder you are, the funnier you are.
There's a fine line between comedy and tragedy.
Yeah.
I noticed that when I do my stand-up, people don't whether laugh or cry, really.
Yeah. No one wants someone getting up on stage and saying, hey, my life is great, I got a raise, I got a new car. No one wants that. I want to see someone having a mental breakdown on stage, you know?
Oh, so I should cut out the jokes about being happily married and all that kind of stuff.
Well, we know you're lying, so. I get the character. No one's happily married. Or we know it's going to, well, he's happily married now.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because there was a guy that I knew and he said he was really pleased when Will Smith got a divorce and went into depression. I said, why are you pleased? And he said, because that bastard had everything good going for him and I want him to suffer as well. I'm just so sick of his smug, I'm so sick of his smug, happy face. I want you to suffer as well, like everybody else. So.
Let's be honest, though. If Will Smith suffers, he suffers better than the rest of us. Like, he's still fucking Will Smith.
Yeah. When you say friend, Michael, you mean yourself.
It was actually me. Yeah. I'm schizophrenic. Yeah.
Yeah, it was your voice.
I'm schizophrenic. Yeah. Said, who do you
your voice telling you that.
The voice has told me.
Yeah, I hope he does suffer as well. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that you have so much Spice Girls material. Like it's such a throwback.
I have 7 hours of this.
I'm always like concerned that if I write a joke about Lord of the Rings, people will be like, "Man, that film came out in
Don't
2003. Get over it."
It's actually, I'll just tell you, seeing as you talk about it, the Spice Girls thing was actually a joke. It wasn't meant to be serious, but I'm kind of lumbered with it, so I like it now. I enjoy it.
I think it's funny seeing you talk about the Spice Girls.
Yeah, well, that was well, no, seriously, because so sorry to go on, but my favorite show is The Young Ones.
Love that show.
And it's great. And I always thought it was very funny that Rick thinks he's an anarchist, but he's obsessed with Cliff Richard.
Cliff Richard, yeah. Cliff Richard.
Yeah. And I just thought it would be funny to be a middle-aged man obsessed with a girl group. That was what it was, you know.
Yeah. And I was watching Bottom the other day.
Not a big fan of that one.
No.
No. I just thought it was it was just sort of, it was a carbon copy of The Young Ones, you know. It's like watching older Laurel and Hardy. It's not the same as the early stuff, you know.
Right. Well, Alexis, do you like The Young Ones? The show?
Yes and no. Okay, yes, definitely.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Sure. What's the no for? Are you in the middle?
Yeah, I'm in the middle. Some of these things where it's like some stuff makes me really cringe. Do you know what I mean? And I find sometimes that's yeah.
What was the
sometimes? I think it's all funny. It's great.
I don't know.
I think because the thing is, I'm quite old. I'm nearly 50, and I think it's something you had to grow up with. You know, I think if you, it's like I've noticed a lot of Bottom fans are a lot younger than me, and they grew up with Bottom. So they didn't have the impact of the Young Ones, you know.
Some of this comes from the fact that I didn't have any English TV for a long time. So then I saw a lot of stuff from about the age of 14 or 15 onwards.
Right, okay.
And so, yeah.
And also, it is mad. Like, something might happen, and then all of a sudden they just zoom up to, like, the wall. And these it's not very funny, is it? No, not
yeah. Or you'd have, like, a scene up in heaven, and then puppets, and then a live band, you know. That's why I didn't like Bottom. I thought Bottom was boring, because it's just the two of them smashed each other over the head. Which is fine, but it was just that, you know. The Young Ones was all over the place. It was Rick, you know, Rick Mail.
So crazy.
Yeah, but Rick Mail said he got that from Monty Python. When you switched on Python, you didn't know what you were going to get. And that's what he tried to do with the Young Ones, you know.
I was just about to say the puppets and stuff sounded very Python-esque. I've never seen the Young Ones, so I don't know. But like going up to heaven and the puppet sounds very Python-esque.
Yeah. That's where he got it from, the idea, you know. Because he said you'd switch on the telly, you get sitcoms. They're all the same. And the great thing about Python, you know, you didn't know if you were going to get a sketch or a song or a parody or animation. And he said he wanted to bring that into the sitcom.
My favorite bit is they go upstairs to get changed. They're going to go out. You know, they're 4 students. Like, let's go out. They go upstairs. They come down, and the actors are wearing each other's clothes, and they're being each other's characters. Like,
Bambi.
Bambi.
Very good.
Anyway, it's Alexis' time. Her time to talk. So, do you like the Young Ones or?
Yes and no.
Are you more of a Bottom fan or?
I've never watched Bottom, so I wouldn't be able to compare. I'm much more like a Dinner Ladies Victoria Wood kind of a girl.
I could see you in that.
Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah. That'd be great. I mean, I have a collective sense of humor because my favorite film since I was about 8 is the sex farce Noises Off.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
I know.
Since you were 8?
Yes. But that's, as you know from my material in a minute, it was all censored. So it was only very short and it was mostly about people going in and out of a house and that was it. But I liked that sort of weird humor from that and the great lines of, it's a good thing I can't see far with this leg. Just brilliant, brilliant writing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Tell us more about the fact that you said you didn't see anything, was it in English until you were like 15?
Yeah. Should I do my material and then that might help explain?
If it's your material, I don't want to be like, tell us your material in chat and then all the
and then have a mad panic when you try and think about some things
we
to
won't
say.
Go into that then, but I was just, I was like, what?
Yeah. I lived behind a zoo in the UAE, so
a zoo. So what?
Yeah.
You just saw TV shows with animal noises, or
no TV? There was 1 hour of English TV on a Friday. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why a Friday? Why not Thursday?
Because everybody else was at mosque.
Ah, right. So you don't think of this as a Catholic? I know. I'm such a... I felt like the Catholic religion was like, you don't need to know any more religions. You got us. Right?
Why are you looking over there?
Whoa. Come back.
Don't look at their sun-laden countries and beautiful music and all that kind of stuff. Look at our grey, cold stone buildings.
And don't be thinking about sex.
I can see you're thinking about it.
Well, because my dad, my original dad, not my stepdad, he was a Muslim, and he said that Christians are lazy bastards because all they do is go to church once a week. Yeah. And Muslims have to do shit like 4 or 5 times a day, you know. I said, why don't you just leave the faith then if you hate it that much, you know?
Or Lent, like what do we do? We just give up chocolate.
Yeah,
that's easy.
Give up Facebook or something. You know?
Yeah, like I'm gonna suffer a small bit. You know, we're supposed to replicate Jesus's pain.
It's not quite the same, is it?
Yeah, he didn't Jesus wasn't there, you know, carrying the cross like, geez, I'd love a Snickers.
No. Well, it was Easter
Only I
egg,
could take a selfie right now.
What I've never understood about Lent though is Jesus never came out of like the 40 days and then was like, okay, guys, now your turn. I did it. Now it's up to you.
Now it's you.
It's just people being like, "Oh, he did it, so should we all do that? Is that how this works?" I don't know.
As well, couldn't you? At that point, that'd be fun.
Wonder was Jesus's blood like? My brother was saying the other day when he'd bleed, did people did he drink his blood or because his wine? Did he do that? Right. Oh, people.
They actually didn't. It wasn't actually nails. They actually just put a tap in. They just went up.
That's why they wanted him dead. They were like, it's nothing personal. It's just, we heard you're a walking wine cooler.
He was the first organic wine. No processed anything in him.
Well, no, because in Italian, there's an expression in Italian, if somebody spends too much money, you say they got holes in their hands. And I remember, it's absolutely true. I was having dinner with my girlfriend, and I just thought of this joke in Italian: "Don't send Jesus to do the shopping because he's got holes in his hands." And the minute I said it, this fishbone stuck in my throat like this. It was like,
what? A fishbone?
Yeah, it was like, Yeah. Not so funny now, are you?
It's like Jim Jeffries goes. He used to do all his material was about like how I don't believe in God and I'm an atheist. And then when he was 30. He became gluten intolerant and lactose intolerant, and he was like, "Fuck you, Jesus." Yeah. So
got the last.
I'm not religious, but like if there are things on in a church, like weddings and stuff, I'm gonna go because I just want to, just in case. Like,
yeah.
At least then I can get to the pearly gates and say, "Well, I went a few times."
Yeah, but don't you think like if you lied about it, God would figure it out?
But he knew I went. It just wasn't the most common. Now, what I like to believe is I went to Australia a while ago and I walked into a church just to look at the architecture and the pictures and all that. And there was all this ordination going on of priests. So there was the fellas with the small hat who are just below the Pope. Then there were the bishops and the archbishops. Cardinals. I couldn't remember. Yeah. They were all there. There was loads of them. So I kind of feel like all the praying they were doing kind of amplified it. So I'm safe. I don't probably never have to go to mass again. Like,
yeah, I bet the way they pray is like extreme as well. Like,
yeah, like it was super, super intense, I'd say. So like I've probably have enough. My prayer meter is probably filled up for life at this stage, so I'm probably good.
Yeah, you're fine. Anyway. Back to the structure of the show. I just imagine, see me as like we're all in a van and I'm driving the car. That's the show. So I need to get back to things like, oh shit, we're gone off track. So Alexis, are you ready to do your material now that you've like built it up?
Oh God, too much pressure. Yeah, of course, go on.
Okay. Let's do it all the way from Reading. It is Alexis, everyone.
So I did grow up behind a zoo in the UAE, which leads to very strange things. Like, we used to quite frequently have animals escape into our garden because it wasn't a very good zoo, and we once had a cassowary, the things that look like dinosaurs in our garden. Yeah. We hid by the stairs windows and stared out and watched watched these people try very ineffectually to capture the small dinosaur. But growing up in the UAE meant that we did only have 1 hour of English TV on a Friday. It was the news, followed by Days of Our Lives, but it was a very censored version of Days of Our Lives, so it only went for about 25 minutes, and that was it. So we mostly grew up on pirated VHS tapes, and they were very pirated. When I was about 14, I did realize at the end of a movie, you don't normally see the audience stand up and walk out. That was my experience of movies. And actually, in The Lion King, our version of The Lion King, we missed Mustafa's death. Because the man in front of the camera stood up to go to the bathroom. So we just had to piece that together. Our version of Bambi as well, the mum just leaves. And I watched the full version of Bambi when I was 13, which I think is the most emotionally stable age to watch that film, and realize your whole life was built on a lie. It's strange when you realize that films have been censored. As I said before, my favorite film was a sex farce, and it's a weird thing when you then move to the UK, and as a child you sort of talk about things when you making friends, and they say, well, what was your favorite film, what's your favorite film, and I would say Noise Is Off, and a teacher did once overhear this, and my parents had to clarify that all the running around in nude, which is the actual version of the film, which I watched as an adult, and was horrified actually that my parents had allowed me to watch this, which means I have a very discombobulated sense of the world, I think, because I did grow up with strange things. My parents being strange. I don't know if you can tell I'm quite a strange person by the things I've said. I'll just give you, this is mainly for the comics actually. My parents have 4 children. 50% of us are comedians. That gives you an idea of the kind of parenting I had.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. 50% of us are comedians. And actually, you know, on your family chat, you have a family chat on social media. We use Messenger, and for funsies, about 4 years ago, I changed the names of everyone on the Messenger. So my mum is J-Dog, and my dad is Ricardo, and, you know, funsies. And I changed my brother, who's the other comedian, to the favorite one. He's still called the favorite one on our family chat. So that's disappointing and hurtful on many levels. So I'm going to leave you on one thing that I've been thinking about recently. Lockdown arguments are weird. I don't know if anyone else is experiencing this as a couple. So we'll go weeks and weeks and weeks without arguing. Weeks without arguing. It's bliss. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? So nice together. And then someone out of nowhere will have a Brexit. You know what I mean by a Brexit, a sort of a long, pointless argument about nothing, and neither side really knows why you're arguing or how you got there. So someone will have a Brexit about something inconsequential, and this is a big concern for me, because the last time we argued like this, we had an argument about peas, and that's how we ended up married. I'm still quite not sure how that happened. The argument started, I don't like peas. Why don't you like peas? It ended with him yelling down the corridor, well, we'll just get married then. And we did. So I'm quite concerned that he's accidentally upset some of my orchids, and we had a big argument about that, and I'm concerned because I'm not ready to have a baby. So that's me. That's all I've got for you, I'm afraid. I think I complied with the small breakdown on stage.
That's all right. I enjoyed it.
Can I ask,
finally
Alexis,
some good comedy?
Can I ask, Alexis? You know, you were
Yeah.
saying you lived kind of next door to a Shih Tzu, and like animals would sneak in. Did like paying customers ever come into your house, and and like the dad was there with the family? He's like, "See here, we have the great white infidel."
No, unfortunately not. But we did used to steal tiger poo, so maybe made up for it somewhere.
Was there a benefit to tiger poo?
See, apparently it was to keep the because there's also lots of wild cats when we lived there. So apparently it was to keep the other cats out of the garden. like a predator's poo would keep them out.
Oh yeah,
but I mean,
we also then had 5 cats. So
yeah, but on the one hand you don't have cats, but on the other hand you do have a load of tiger shit in your garden.
Exactly.
I'd rather have the cats if I had to choose, because I like cats.
We did end up with many cats, so it didn't work.
Like, imagine another cat smelling that and going, "Is it tiger?" You know, can I ask? Like you said, so 50% of your family are comedians, or well, obviously your siblings, including you. What's that like? Usually there's one.
I know, it's weird. So in my family, we have 2 comedians, and a sculptor, and then we have a scientist for balance.
Nice. The same
balance. Yeah. He mostly does sketch and character comedy. So there's a little bit of difference. It's weird, and my parents forget how loud we are. And then when we're all together, and then so before we all get together, I can't. Oh, it's so lovely to have everyone together. And then we get together, and they're like, "It's so loud. Why can't you be quiet?"
Yeah, please shut up.
Yeah, stupid voices everywhere. That's what my dad likes to say.
Wow,
it is quite loud.
Do they have a favorite comedian between like you and your brother, or you and your? Is it your brother?
100% my brother. Yeah.
It's in the name.
Yeah, the favorite one for sure. The
funny one. Anyway, we're going to move on to our last, but not least. I hate when people say that.
Thank you.
Comedian. It is Andre.
Yes.
On his porn star couch.
Good.
Thank you.
I think you're the only comedian I've ever had who I can actually see their trousers.
Yeah, these are pajamas still. It's still early here in New York. It's like 4:00. So
that's not early. It's not even midday.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So I'm
what time did you get up?
I go to work around 8:30, so I wake up, check my email, and go back to sleep.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, it's going pretty well. I do not mind lockdown. I don't like, obviously, all the death and misery and economic devastation, but for me personally, it's worked out pretty well.
Fair.
In July of last year, I got a second job, and it was like way more money than I make now. So my idea was like, I'm just going to keep both jobs until my real job is like, you're fucking up, like you got to go. And it never happened. I had another job from July until November working on the election, and it worked out pretty well for me. So
you were working on the election, the president?
Yeah, I worked for a firm that does digital and print ads for like different campaigns. Yeah.
So were you falsifying votes?
You were to for the president, is it?
Yeah, the firm I worked for worked for a lot of different Democratic candidates. I worked not for Biden directly, but for example, like unions would buy ads in his name, so we would write them and create them and stuff. It was pretty fun.
That is really cool.
Yeah, and then like I just assumed my real job would lay me off because they didn't pay attention and they didn't care. So
they're the best jobs. I love like those jobs that they're not jobby jobs, so you don't have to do worky work.
Right. Yeah. And if it wasn't for lockdown, I would have had to move to DC for it. So I probably wouldn't have done it. But
you wouldn't be doing this show.
Yeah. You're a kind of glass half full person. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Like the opposite of Michael.
Balance, right? Totally empty person.
Yeah.
What I like about Andre's look though is we're all here like right up at our camera, and he's just chilling out in his car. It's kind of like he kind of wandered in here and then was kind of like, I'll just stick around. I'll tell a few jokes.
I'll get involved. I'm in my pajamas. It's cool. That's cool. So how do you find Biden? Do you like Biden?
Yeah, dude. I think he's good. I hope he's good for comedy, because the last guy, everybody was like, oh, Trump's going to be great for comedy. Not true. He's very good for the world and for the country, but not that awesome for comedy, I find.
I'm gonna be honest. I did a lot of Trump stuff. I used to bring him out. He's a tremendous guy, really great. Yeah. Now Biden, I'm trying to work him a Biden. You know, I'm saying what's funny about Biden? He's a bit, he doesn't know where he is half the time.
He loves trains.
Yeah, that was like the whole thing. He's like obsessed, not like obsessed, I guess, but he famously never lived in DC because he's from Delaware, which is like maybe like 45 minutes from the Capitol. And he always used to be like, "Oh, I take the Amtrak train from Wilmington, Delaware." And it got to the point where I was like, "Yeah, we got it. You ride the fucking train. It's all right."
You like trains, okay?
Yeah.
Well,
but then when there was the coup-ish or whatever happened, like his whole plan was to take the train to the White House his first day, and they had to cancel it, and he was super bummed. But
because you're the president now, someone could attack you, and he's like, "What?
Yeah.
Who is Obama?"
Yeah.
What I love about Biden is, so he's got Irish in him.
Yeah.
Yep. And he is actually his family are near from here, from Mayo, which is in the west of Ireland. But he keeps telling, every time he talks about Ireland, he's always like, "Okay, my family's from Mayo."
He has like two. He has like a poet, or I think one poet and one novelist from there that he always talks about, and I kind of zoned it out. But he's like, I'm going to quote this guy. I'm sorry, it's probably super offensive, but I forgot his name.
Like we had St. Patrick's Day, and he's talking about how's Mayo doing in the football, and they're like, "Okay, can we talk about Brexit? Like that's happening. We need your support. Are you with us?" And he's like, "I'm Irish as well." Yeah, he's so funny. No, he's great.
What I love is how people are kind of annoyed about that, though. They're like, "Oh God, no, not another fake Irish Paddy." But like 8 years ago, we're like, "Obama is Irish, guys. We've named a petrol station after him."
Yes, we did.
In the middle of the country. But for Biden, we're like, "No, way too much bullshit."
I know. Yeah. Like Obama. Yeah, but as soon as he said, "I've got family in Offaly," everyone was like, "What?"
Yeah, but dude, Obama was like, I think people like Biden because they're like, "Oh my God, we made it." That was like really close to being the end. But people like genuinely liked Obama. I found, like, at least at the beginning, they're like pretty excited. He was like cool. You know what I mean?
Very cool, very slick.
I think Biden is just like, okay, like the grown-ups are back in the house. That's good. But like,
I think people like Biden because they've been looking at Trump for 4 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it almost ended.
Pretty sure that a mop in a wig would have been preferred.
Yeah,
absolutely. Did you hear he got rid of the Diet Coke button?
No. Yeah, I don't know if that's actually true or not, but I hope it is.
I hope it is. I hope, and I love the idea.
Deal with the big problems first,
Imagine if Trump was like, "That's not my button. It was there before I got here."
Maybe every president, maybe that button's always there, and every president can have it like programmed for whatever they want.
Yeah.
Possibly. So like Clinton probably had it programmed for, I don't know, Coke.
He thought it was a different type of Coke or something, I thought it was a different type of Coke. Alex has just messaged saying, "Trump today said he wants to set up his own social media platform. What do you think he should be called?"
Twatter.
The wall.
That's good.
Twatter, yeah.
I think it might just be something that's like super like self-serving, like Bigly or like the best.
Or Trump Talk or something.
Yeah.
Tick Trump.
Don't they have one already? A conservative, was it Parler?
Yeah, it got shut down, but it came back. I've never been on it, obviously, but I heard it's like it's kind of a nightmare to use. Like like Twitter, like is really easy to navigate. I think Parler is the opposite.
Yeah. Did you ever see the
cool thing? Sorry,
I've seen like screenshots from it, and like the way Twitter and Facebook comments can be a pure dumpster fire. Like Parler is just an unregulated dumpster fire, which is even scarier.
One of the guys, I don't know if it was like the CFO, but like one of those dudes, they had him on CNBC right after they got Amazon took them off their service, and he was like, "Oh, it's not true that we don't moderate. We just like go through every comment that's flagged like one by one. So like basically, like, you can plan an insurrection, and then like in June they'd be like, oh, this looks kind of sketchy. Like in January they were coordinating."
Well, no, if you think about it, it's incredible, the kind of things that people share over the social media, on Facebook. And like, it always makes me laugh because every 6 months there's paranoia about privacy on Facebook. I'm like, you're on Facebook.
Yeah.
You take a selfie having a shit in the morning. I mean,
that ship has kind of sailed, dude. I think like all of our information is out there pretty much.
I just love the people who are like, "Oh, I don't want to get the vaccine because I don't want them to track me," and they like post it on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and then geotag themselves at the GPO in Dublin. It's like, we know where you are.
Yeah.
Well, you think we live in a world where kids can break into like the FBI files. So I think if you put something on Facebook, the possibility that people find it is quite, you know.
I'm interested. Like, I don't know. The FBI goes through all my opinions. Like, do they really want to know that?
Yeah. I'd be quite
like
flattered.
pineapple on pizza.
I think I'd be quite flattered if the FBI cared what I think. It'd be quite cool. You know?
Yeah. No one gives a shit.
My favourite Spice Girl.
Well, I was thinking, you know how Trump wanted to ban TikTok? Did you ever see the way he dances? Remember, he's just thinking when he come out from the... That's why he was just such a bad dancer.
He was annoyed that he never went viral on TikTok. He was like, I've been doing all these dances.
That's probably it.
Nobody's
tried so hard.
I've been doing these great dances.
So hard.
Nobody knows to dance like I do. It's tremendously great. Yeah, we're gonna miss him.
Well,
and what's what's the comedy like in New York? In New York City?
I like it quite a bit. Obviously, right now we had a pretty strong winter, so there's not too much outdoor stuff. In the last summer and the fall was pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff in parks and on rooftops, and
nice.
Who knows, like right now, but it feels like the COVID thing here is kind of turning a corner. Like a lot of people are getting vaccinated. The rates in New York are actually not as bad as in other parts of the U.S., so hopefully by like late May, early June, we'll be back. I don't know. I run a show that I've been doing for a long time at a place called Friends and Lovers in Brooklyn, and we're streaming it now. Obviously, we haven't done it at all since the pandemic, but we're talking about May coming back live. Like the venues, that's kind of like it's not set in stone, but that's kind of the roadmap. So hopefully we'll be able to do that.
What was the name of the show? Singles and Lovers?
The name of the show is Would You Rather with Andre and Maggie. It's sort of similar to what we're doing, but maybe not exactly. Like my co-host and I will bring up a guest one by one and have Would You Rather scenarios. And then we're just kind of like playing back and forth with all the ideas. And it's started as a live show. We're doing it on Comedy Hub right now during the pandemic. But hopefully when we come back to real life, we're still going to stream it. So it'll be available on the World Wide Web, even if we're live.
What's the craziest or the most like divided you've ever been with a Would You Rather?
Ooh, there was one. Would you rather have a boozy brunch with Paul Simon or a pub crawl with the other Art Garfunkel? That was very contentious.
That's good.
I go with Paul Simon.
I can't stand Paul Simon.
Yeah, I think most people like I think the comic was like Paul Simon, and then the crowd was like super divided.
These are the big issues, aren't they? That people get excited.
Yeah.
But I should probably mention it's like that's a pretty like normal game to play. Like, Would You Rather? We invite comics on and then like ask them about things they're really interested in. So they're like really specific questions. You know what I mean?
You know, like Spice Girls or something.
Yeah, like you would definitely get Spice Girls questions.
Would you
don't
rather
laugh at the
listen
Spice
to the
Girls.
Spice Girls?
I don't laugh at your
or
religion.
the Beatles.
Spice Girls are like
question, actually. Well, actually, it's really funny. Sorry to interrupt, but I just read recently an article comparing the Beatles to the Spice Girls, which is funny in itself. But the bit actually made me laugh out loud because it said it compared John to Victoria, and it said both John and Victoria had their solo careers cut short by tragedy. Right, John by murder, Victoria by her first album. That is absolutely genuine, that quote. I didn't make it up, you know.
Oh,
very good. I saw Victoria Beckham in the flesh once. We were fleshies.
Fleshy. Yeah. That was a link.
Yeah, no, I did. I was going up an escalator and she was launching some new makeup when I used to work in Selfridges.
Probably, that's what she does, really.
Yeah, so
is she the best charismatic?
I couldn't tell. She was like so far away.
She's like that anyway. She's like that sort of thick, isn't she?
Yeah. When she turns, she like disappears and then she comes back.
It's like the photographs are actual thickness, you know.
Yeah.
That's crazy how like. Okay.
Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say it's crazy how like actors and musicians and models and stuff are like small entities. Where like you see one tall actor in a movie and he like towers over everybody else.
A lot of them, yeah, but do you know what it is? It's really interesting that often actors, it's not that they're small, they just look small to you because psychologically you've kind of bigged them up in your head.
Oh, yeah. That's probably true, but I mean, like look at Vince Vaughn in any of those movies. He's like 8 feet taller than the rest of them. And in real life, he's probably only like 6'2" or 6'3". But...
Yeah. Well, no, because one of my favorite comedians was Jack D. Right.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
And,
great comedian.
I met him in the sense that I waited to get his autograph, and I said he's quite small and ugly in real life. And someone said, no, really, and someone said he's probably not small or ugly. It's just that A, he looks small because you used to see him on the telly, and B, television is very, very good at bringing out the best in people, even people who are not particularly good looking. You know, they know how to make you up and get the camera angle right, so they can bring out. And he said probably Jack D looks exactly the same as everybody else, but in your mind, because he's a bit of a hero. Do you know what I mean?
It's like on a
It's like the stage has that. Like I remember, I went to see some like Irish production of Taming of the Shrew, and I just thought, all the actors were just so attractive. As soon as they get off stage, like, they're all right.
Actually, you know, Ben Elton, who co-wrote The Young Ones, he said, when I was at university, women never looked at me. I was considered the sort of ugly, farty one. And he said, when The Young Ones went ballistic, I got lots of offers from very nice women just because you're famous. You know, he said, I thought it was a myth, but it wasn't. He said, you know, anybody famous becomes attractive. You know,
that's why, like, it's tough running.
That's my problem. Yeah.
Like people come up to me and say, "Hey, have my baby." I'm like,
that's my problem. I'm not famous.
I wish that was the problem. Anyway,
that doesn't happen, Jack, does it?
No. That was a joke.
I believed it.
Sure. No, never believe anything I say. But believe this, right? We're going to have Andre on now.
All right.
He's going to hit the stage. So, ladies and gentlemen, last act of the night. All the way from New York, it is in his pajamas, on his porn couch. It is Andre, everyone. Woo!
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for having me. I'm having an awesome time. It's my first time performing in Ireland. As I mentioned before, we have a new president in the Republic of the United States of America, and I think he was the best candidate for the job. A lot of my friends disagreed at the beginning. They wanted like Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren. And they're like, oh, Biden is a bad candidate. And I was very offended by that. I was like, why is Biden a bad candidate? Every reason I heard was stupid. It's like, oh, he's old, he's dumb, he doesn't know anything about anything, he's kind of conservative, he rambles on. And I was like, we live in the United States. Those are all assets across the board. Not one of those things is bad. We love dumb candidates, and I can prove it to you. Jimmy Carter was literally an engineer on a nuclear submarine. And when he ran for president, he's like, oh, I'm a peanut farmer from Georgia. And he won. That's the way you play the game. And he lost re-election, which was kind of embarrassing. But Ronald Reagan, who he lost to, was like, ketchup is a vegetable and trees cause pollution, because he was even better at the game. So
nice.
That's a little insight into American politics. I think COVID is, like I mentioned, I think we're almost there. And it's been a goal of mine not to get COVID because it's disgusting. Like if you have it, I'm sure there's good people with COVID, but the disease itself is gross. So knock on wood, I haven't had it yet. Trying to avoid it. I hate emergency rooms. One of the reasons I don't want it. And I hate them for the obvious reasons, but also we have a really good healthcare system here in America. I don't know if you know that, but like if you go to the emergency room, they ask you this question, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does it hurt? I'm like, okay, 7 years of medical school, we're playing this game. Okay, cool. It's like maybe a 2. Like 2, this is an emergency room. People come here with real problems. But if you go the other way, it's even worse. Be like, I don't know, it's like a 9. Like you rolled your ankle and it's a 9. 40 minutes ago, I pulled a steak knife out of a man's sternum. I asked him the same question and he said an 8. Take 2 Tylenol, sleep it off. Basically, like any answer you give to that question is an excuse for a doctor to call you a pussy, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I've been consuming a lot of content in lockdown, and I learned a lot. I've learned every single country in the world is a thriving film industry, and about 7 to 10 actors that are in everything they produce. And it's made me want to travel, but I want to travel to like the idealized versions of places I see on Netflix and Prime and stuff. Like I watch a lot of noir stuff, like Nordic films and series, and all of Scandinavia looks like a killing field. And I found out that's not true. Like all of Scandinavia put together has like 16 murders in a year. And I was like, how is that possible? Like every show, people are either like grieving in death or plotting revenge, or they're cops that look like asthmatic lumberjacks that are investigating in death. Like this doesn't square with like my research. And then I realized like, oh, they're probably like, yeah, we're tall and pale. It's always dark here. We're halfway there. they read a couple of Stephen King novels and figured it out. But then I was thinking, there are comics who started on Zoom and are really funny and have like 20 minutes, but they've never done comedy in real life. So it's almost the same thing. Like when this is over, they're going to get booked on shows and not know how to hold the mic, like walk around the stage like a school shooter, and everybody's going to look at this idiot, but they're going to have like 50,000 followers. So like, I guess they win. Let me say one more thing. I'm going to say one more thing and I'll get going. Never give up. Always like believe in your dreams. I'll tell you why. One time, my early 20s, I had a roommate and we had a bathroom with 2 sinks and we both shared one. And the other one was called the booter sink, which was only for like puking in and stuff like that. And one night he knocked on my door and asked for a condom and I ignored him. And then the next morning I was like, oh, I'm sorry, which I really wasn't. And he's like, oh, dude, like, whatever, man. It doesn't matter. Like, was she passed out, dude? Went into his bathroom, cranked the water as hot as it would get on the booter sink, just got up there, like shoved my cock under there, like rubbed it out, And I was like, oh, that's not the way STDs work. That's not going to do anything for you at all. And he's like, oh, it's like better than nothing, And I was like, no, it's literally nothing. You like did not do anything. And then he got kind of angry. And then I was like, but if that's the course of action you wanted to take, you could have just gotten in the shower, made it equally as warm, and taken a shower like a normal person. And he is now married to a medical doctor. So anything is possible. Thanks, guys.
On everyone!
Whoa.
Whoa, we learned a lot today. It's like if you're talking about these maybe crime dramas where there's a murderer in a small city. Highly recommend watching an Irish film called The Guard because it's actually based where I live at the moment.
The Guard?
You like that film? The Guard, right?
Amazing film. I love it.
I love all that stuff. I've never heard of it, but I will check it out.
Brendan Gleeson plays the Guard. It is, again, near around my area in the west of Ireland. And it's such a rural place here that nothing ever happens. So they find a dead body and this guard goes, I think it could be a serial killer. And then Brendan Gleeson goes, well, that'd be a first for Galway. There's just no murders.
There was actually... there's a dude that was a bartender right next to Upright Citizens Brigade. Was from Galway. He was a nice guy.
Galway. Yeah, they're all right in Galway. Anyway, I'm just gonna steal the audience for 2 seconds. I'm just gonna thank them very much. Audience, thank you so much for watching the show. It's been a tremendous show. We got some great acts. So unfortunately, this show isn't free for me to run. I have to pay for StreamYard and all this. So there's a little link if you want to throw some coin my way just to keep the show going. I just do it because, I love comedy. It's good fun. So yeah, it's, think there if you want to, it's also in the post. Let's say goodbye to our comedians. Comedians, thank you so much. This has been a great show. Thank you so much. I can hear myself.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Cheers, man. Yeah, it was fun.
We'll definitely get you all back.